Mr. President, last Thursday, the Trump administration submitted its first budget blueprint to Congress. The president called it America First, a budget blueprint to make America great again. The title would seem like a Saturday Night Live skit. The topic were not so serious. Like some of the president's tweets, the budget is a hasty list of appallingly unbalanced, short-sighted, and I believe politically driven priorities. He proposes to eliminate or drastically cut programs that benefit the middle class, safeguard our most vulnerable citizens, programs that protect our environment, programs that promote our interests overseas, but also security at home. The city wants to spend billions upon billions of taxpayers' dollars on a misguided wall along our southern border and increase spending for the Pentagon. He says his proposal is about strength, security, and resolve. He couldn't be more wrong. We don't want to make America, quote, great again, close quote, at the expense of middle-class families, the most vulnerable among us. You know, we're not a great nation if we abandon our shared desire to cure cancer, or the desire to bring an end to Alzheimer's disease, or diabetes. We don't do that by slashing billions from the National Institutes of Health. You can't switch complex and promising medical research off and then say, well, maybe someday later on, we'll just turn it back on again. And we're not a great nation if we eliminate heating assistance for the 6 million vulnerable households that receive Leahy. In fact, 21,000 of those households just had to dig themselves out from an historic snowstorm in my state of Vermont. And we're not a great nation if we don't protect the air we breathe, the water we drink. And you don't make America stronger by eliminating the very programs that strengthen our alliances around the world and make our nation more secure. And we're not a strong nation if we simply pour more money into the Pentagon, but then renege on commitments to international peacekeeping and security alliances, or slash funding to respond to humanitarian crises, or cut our diplomatic presence around the world. Interestingly enough, when the other body spent millions and millions and millions of tax dollars to investigate a lack of security in Benghazi and came up with nothing, this budget slashes huge amounts that could be spent on security in our embassies, just as they voted to cut out hundreds of millions of dollars from a Senate budget that would have improved our security. Now, the president says he prefers hard power to soft power. But it's not either or. You know, the notion that soft power is weak or wasteful is mindless. If you're cutting programs that feed millions, or prevent AIDS, or treat tuberculosis and malaria, well, that doesn't help. It makes the world less stable, less secure. I'm afraid the budget proposal is divorced from reality. It has a lot of partisan campaign promises. It promises infrastructure investment. I think all of us would agree with that. But then it cuts critical federal funds for proven, successful state transportation projects. He claims he'll save rural America, but he cuts those federal programs to spur rural economic development. That's not a budget with vision. We need a serious budget proposal, a proposal that acknowledges the devastating effects the Budget Control Act and sequestration have had in our country, a budget that charts a path forward rather than doubling down on further cuts on programs for the middle class. We need a budget proposal to invest in our citizens and in our military, not a proposal that pays for one at the expense of the other. So we have a lot of work to do. I'm the vice chairman of the Senate Appropriations Committee, and I would say we have to finish the fiscal year 2017 appropriations bills and then get to work on fiscal year 2018. Anybody who's been a governor of their state would recognize that because they know that they have to do it in their state. We should do it for the United States. To accomplish that, we need a budget framework that respects the principles in the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, including parity between defense and non-defense spending. And even though they might be politically popular, don't have poison pill riders. We need relief from sequestration, not more misguided cuts. This budget proposal takes us backward, not forward. But we can remind ourselves that it's Congress that holds the power of the purse, not the president. And I've said that whether we've had Democratic or Republican presidents. I take the responsibility seriously. I look forward to working across the aisle with colleagues both on and off the Appropriations Committee. I want to craft a responsible budget, a thoughtful budget, a serious budget, one that truly makes us a better and safer nation. It reflects the values we share as Americans. President, I don't see anybody seeking the floor. First, I'd ask consent that my whole statement be made part of the record.
Without objection.
And I suggest the absence of quorum.